flying today in Flagship Business Class, which I actually got a free upgrade on. This would be pretty neat to experience a transcontinental service in first class, the longest I've ever done. So let's head to the SFO.
Over the city in an airplane, I can see everything below. Over the city in an airplane, I can see everything below. Over the city in an airplane, I can see everything below.
Welcome guys to the Harvey Milk Terminal, or Terminal 1 here at SFO. After my last visit, I definitely was very impressed by this terminal, and I still am. So now let's see, where is priority?
Due to my One World Ruby status, I have priority every time I fly, but if you do purchase a Flagship Business Class ticket and don't have status, you'll also obviously have priority. Since I wasn't checking in any bags tonight, I just scooted over to a self-serve kiosk and printed out my boarding passes there, which was very quick and easy. Since I tend to fly American and Southwest the most, I'm in Terminal 1 here quite often when flying out of SFO, and compared to the others, this is a really nice terminal. It's always a pleasure flying out of Harvey Milk. I still like the international terminal the best here, but for domestic flights, it's very good.
Okay, I just made it past security. Now, with the Flagship Business Transcontinental ticket, I think I get to access the Admirals Club. So I'm gonna try to head over there and see if I can get in. It'll be my first club. Hi. I'm in Flagship Business. Do I have access to this?
Are you flying to New York?
Yeah.
On American?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just can you scan your boarding?
Oh, sure.
Okay, you're all set.
All right.
Welcome on in. Just go up the elevator and it's here.
Thank you. Yes, I made it in. Thank you. Let's see what it's all about.
Yes, believe it or not, this is my very first lounge visit ever. So please don't ask me how this compares to other airports or airlines, because I will not know. The nice thing about this one though is that it was just renovated, so everything looks very fresh and updated. Right by the bar is a self-serve food buffet, which tonight had laid out Mediterranean cuisine along with broccoli cheddar soup and some spinach and artichoke dip. As far as drinks, free coffee and soda options were available on this side. While there was a decent enough food selection for, say, a midnight snack, I required a bit more tonight.
Oh, all I've eaten today was like a little bowl of mashed potatoes, so I'm so hungry here. I ordered some like chicken buffalo wings or something or other from the bar. Not bad. But yeah guys, so I'm gonna try to check out some more of this lounge after I'm done eating, get my stomach under control. It feels like a very nice lounge, but it's very quiet and not a lot of people. And there's a lot of social distancing going on still, but plenty of plugs. I mean, there's probably 100 plugs on this one table alone.
The lounge also has excellent views of the apron outside, including these JetBlue planes, and eventually mine, but in the meantime, here's a quick look around the rest of this Admirals Club. If you so desire, there are showers here by the bathrooms where you can freshen up. On the other side of the check-in desk, adjacent to the bar, is a lounge area with plenty of different seating options, and as you can see, not a whole lot of people here tonight. Also here in this section are some more drink selections if you get thirsty and don't feel like walking to the other side. A small business center is also over here with computers and printers, and at the time, empty magazine and newspaper rack, and even a small kids room for those passengers traveling with their children.
They even have a kids room in here. This is sick. You know, it's so weird though. I'm trying to film this lounge and it's so quiet and everybody's staring. It's such an awkward place to film, but it's the life of a YouTube channel, travel channel, right? The thing is, every time I at least watch a business class or a first class review, for some reason I don't like watching the lounge parts. So I'm not going to bore you with more of this lounge stuff. I know it's like a necessity and it's part of the travel experience, but I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is a very nice lounge though. It's actually just built this year too.
Eventually, my Airbus A321T, which stands for transcontinental, pulled into my gate, and 115NN, a 7.5-year-old aircraft at the time of filming.
Hello, how are you?
While in general, I personally despise American's A321, this particular configuration is so much better than their regular interiors and is a truly unique experience getting to fly it. They're only put on premium cross-country routes, and SFO-JFK is almost as premium as it gets. So time to hop on board and check it out. Flagship Business Class on the A321T is actually not the top class. That would be Flagship First, which, unless you get super lucky with a free upgrade, that costs a fortune. I'm more than satisfied with this seat though, as it is also a lie flat bed. There are 20 of these seats, me taking the very last row right behind the wing, 10F. Obviously, compared to American's Dreamliners and 777s, this flagship business seat is much different, with a 2-2 layout here versus the Super Diamond 1-2-1 layout on those jets. But with a flagship first offering on here, AA understandably needs to differ the two classes somehow. At my seat, I found a water bottle along with an amenity kit, complimentary to all flagship business passengers. Removing those items reveals 4 power ports, one being a USB, and above that a universal power outlet. On the inside of the seat is a reading light and seat controls, which I'll get into once in the air. To the left side is the safety card and in-flight guide found inside a small pocket. Also on the left is a PTV remote controller, which can be clicked out like so, and the tray table, which I'll also show off once in the air. Up on the armrest is a decent sized drink table with a wood-like finish and more seat controls just below that. Finally, here we get to the awesome legroom, as there should be in this class, and since the flight is a cross-country red-eye, a blanket and pillow is also provided, thankfully. When the seat is folded out completely, your feet go in this cubby area. There's a tiny storage compartment above that, with the personal large TV monitor taking up the rest of the space. And before I forget, seats also have adjustable headrests, which should be a given nowadays, and that'd be about it for now as far as this seat tour. I'm really excited to finally have a lie flat bed on a flight that is long enough for me to try and get some shut-eye, so it's time to open these windows and start the pushback for JFK.
Welcome aboard. Before we depart, here are some important safety instructions. First things first, let's buckle those belts. Insert the metal end into the buckle and First things first, let's open up the amenity kit and see what's inside.
There ain't a ton of stuff in here, but there's still some basic essentials such as this toothbrush and toothpaste, a small pen, some earplugs, a little tube of hand and body lotion, a pamphlet from the company who makes this kit, a very lovely pair of black socks, and lastly and most importantly, an eye mask. I'm definitely not a good airplane sleeper at all, and even with how much I travel, it's just not gotten any better until I started using eye masks. They really help block out the light and kind of give you the delusion that you have some privacy. Before the flight attendants begin their series of services tonight, here's a look at what I'll be sleeping on today, fully reclined. The full set of controls are found on the armrest side, which is what I'm using right now, but there's also a few basic buttons on the right side, as I showed before takeoff. Fully stretched out, even for 6-foot me, my feet aren't touching the next seat in front. I will say it's much more narrow than the Super Diamond Flagship Business seat, and therefore is unfortunately worse in that department. But anyway, I believe I sense some movement up front from the crew, so it's time to look at, yes, a menu of what I can order on this flight. Everything on here is of course free, with today's main course dishes being either a beef short rib, a spinach and Gouda stuffed chicken, macadamia crusted sea bass, or artichoke ravioli. A full array of drinks from hot coffee and tea to sodas and alcohol are also complimentary. So once the FA came around, I gave her my dinner and drink choice, and she also handed us a cup of warm nuts, something American is known for.
So we just got some dinner here. I got the prime rib. I didn't even open it yet, but my seatmate here, he got the fish, and he said it was cold, and mine felt kind of cold too, so the flight attendant is warming it up. I mean, hopefully it'll be better. I don't want to get sick. After getting my meal warmed up again, I opened up my prime rib, and it was a perfect temperature now to eat. It also came with some potatoes, tomatoes, a celery stick, some gravy sauce for the meat, and an interesting looking green vegetable I didn't try. The side items included a bulgur and grapefruit salad with feta cheese, for dessert a salted caramel tartlet, and of course a small bun with butter. My seatmate wasn't so lucky with his meal, as the FA literally had to bring out 3 new fish dinners for him, but I guess fortunate enough for her, pretty much the entire Flagship Business section was sleeping, except for the 2 of us, and maybe 1 other person, so she really gave us a fantastic service, even though there was clearly problems with their ovens. It's also really amazing when you can have a cool seatmate on your flight, especially this guy, who literally is from Baltimore, where I am headed to on this trip, and so is he, and also he lives in SF now, like me, not too far from where I live. So we had some really awesome conversations together on this flight when awake. It is truly a very small world. As far as how the food tasted, I'm not kidding, this 100% was the best airplane food I've ever had. The prime rib was especially really tasty, soft and juicy as well, with an excellent texture to it. Really surprised me how good this was. The bun was also super soft, the butter was also not cold and unspreadable, and the dessert was also very delicious. I really took in as much as possible this whole experience because I don't really prioritize first class travel much, but I certainly was highly enjoying everything here so far. After finishing up my meal, I think I now more than satisfied my stomach from only some mashed potatoes earlier in the day, so I headed back to the lav, walked throughout the cabin a bit, asked the FA for 1 more cup of hot tea, and then snuggled back in my seat, ready to actually sleep, laying down on an airplane for once. Catch you in the morning.
only I could have a bet on every longer flight. As the sun rose over the Midwest and we fly over Pennsylvania, flight attendants came around with pre-arrival beverages before we land. Finishing my OJ, I decided to check out the Flagship Business Lavatory, which is noticeably a bit different from this one I went to before sleeping in the very back. Flagship First also has its own lavatory way up front. This is the mid-cabin lav, and economy has 2 more in the back. The biggest difference is really just the sink area, which has a black countertop and a more circular shaped sink bowl than in economy. As I pretty much slept right up until flight attendants woke everyone up, I still didn't get a chance to fiddle around with the large PTV screen in front of me, so I'll do so right now before we start our final approach into JFK. Again, you can control the monitor with the smaller controller on the armrest, but I always find it easier to just touch the screen itself. There's multiple interactive flight map tracker options, which I'm sure y'all know how they look. And then for all the entertainment, it's found in this tab, where movies, TV shows, music, and games can be accessed. You all saw what I did on this flight. It mainly consisted of a meal and sleeping, so I definitely didn't take full advantage of this system, but it's the same thing that you'll find on any of their other Flagship Business equipped jets. I really like the large screen, but I did notice a slight bit of lag in the responsiveness department. The quantity of content is excellent. The ease of use and personalization has never really been AA strong suit. That would definitely go to JetBlue and Delta.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing.
Honestly, my expectations when flying American Airlines in literally any class are very low just because of how far they've fallen in the hard and soft product they offer. But this flight, even with some noticeable problems, it definitely exceeded my expectations for Flagship Business. I loved the lounge access at SFO, even though I strongly think there should be some more food. And for a narrow body, literally flying the second class on board, I was extremely comfortable, and even though it's not American's best Flagship Business product, I still very much enjoyed it. The food was probably the highlight for me on board, even though there were problems with the ovens, and the crew on the flight were all super friendly as well, especially the 2 FAs that were working our section. The only real negative opinion I had with them was something my seatmate actually brought up to me, since he does fly American Flagship quite often. He said on a night flight after takeoff, flight attendants are supposed to turn the cabin lights on so people have a chance to order some food instead of sleeping right away. On the contrary, they kept them off and did not serve us for a while until literally 3 people were awake and wanted a meal. So, were they a bit lazy there? Yes, but I'm not going to go any further beyond that. Back in New York for a short while.
Thank you. Okay guys, and that'll do it for my longest business class flight I've done on the channel. I thought it was a great flight. I didn't wake up until we were landing, so I think it succeeded in my book. Are there better products out there on a transcontinental, on a narrow body? Probably, maybe JetBlue. The mid service is probably definitely better, but I haven't tried it yet, so I can't say. I hope you guys enjoyed this flight today on board American's A321 transcontinental. I'll now be heading down to DCA, so stay tuned for that video coming out next. Again, thanks guys for watching, and catch you on the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed this flight today.